Sky. At this point, I'm not even sure if Sky actually exists. Might just be a name on a piece of paper.
I've seen him in the back, so he exists, but, you know, he did accept the substitute position for Faker, so I think he kind of understood what he was getting into.
A paycheck?
It's kind of like a streaming contract on other teams. When you're like, when TSM picked up Nightblue, you're like, he's not going to play. And Sky's probably not going to play very much, Kilios. If he played more than 5 games this year, I'd be surprised, and that includes Casper Cup.
Here we go, time for the World Finals. Sky in Game 5. Oh boy, alright. Well anyway, picking bans up. Malzahar Rumble from the side of Kongdoo. Mion LeBlanc by SKT, so going back to banning the former must bans that we've seen.
Lulu banned again, so perhaps shaping up for Kongdoo Monster to take the first pick Rengar. Peanut struggled in Game 1. Predictably, not on the same page with his SKT team just yet. So we are in the second half of the season, so it gets a little bit more worrying when the disconnect exists, but they set themselves up for a first pick Rengar, so they will lock it in.
Well, they keep working on it in the meantime and have Bang for that ace up the sleeve in case they need him. But yeah, Rengar, first pick here for Punch.
Does he just take Ezreal now?
I think he might. It's Karma Ezreal.
Soul is a good Ezreal too. Not on the level of Bang, obviously. Maybe you just go somewhere else though. Support so far locked in. Could just take jungle at this juncture if they wish to. Actually going to prioritize Nardas very early. Kongdoo would have considered taking it in the first round. Roach is almost exclusively a tank player. Had a good Camille game, but nothing else. I have a feeling Peanut might want to play Lee Sin at Kilios.
We could see that come out, actually.
Has played 1 game of Graves. Previously, his whole champion pool was Rengar, Kha'Zix, and Lee Sin.
Kha'Zix has fallen off the cliff, though.
We'll see a lot of play in LPL, but after the latest batch of nerfs and moving forward, we probably will not be seeing it too much in Korea.
I mean, they also have Tristanas over there, amongst other...
Hey, man. 7.5 Tristana is pretty decent.
Oh, okay.
Not that they're on 7.5. They're still playing on 7.4 because Uzi things, but 7.5 Tristana might be a thing. I think 7.5 Ezreal is going to be ridiculous, but he's already pretty good, it turns out.
All right, well, Shen Jin going to be the final pickups of this first round here for Kongdoo.
I think this is where you take the Ezreal. Bang's like, I don't know if I want to play it. He does, though.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, fine. I guess I'll do it. If it means we win, but I won't have fun doing it.
I'm going to get to the ban phase. Mid lane and support needed for Kongdoo Monster. I don't think they're worried about too many mid lane champions. Yeah. From Edge, he's been good on Ryze. Ryze is probably one of the interesting champions. Pretty safe blind pick in the second round. Ryze and Talia seem to be the first pick on red side mid laners now that Corki is almost a thing of the past. The support bans make a bit more sense. First support ban will be Tahm Kench.
What else they want to take away?
Yeah, Secret's most known for his Alistair back on Spenu Korea days, or I guess Spenu Sonic Boom at the time, but that was a long time ago. And Faker has access to last pick if he so chooses. That's always scary. Played Katarina last pick against his team on the red side last time, and he hasn't played Katarina in a while. So
yeah, we haven't seen that in quite some time.
Don't know how many minimum Katarina games he had in his contract, so who knows if he'll be able to play it here.
Tahm Kench and Thresh. Only other support, the 2 games that we've seen secret play was the Nami. Thresh is what he brought out the first time around.
Nami's pretty decent into Karma, so there's a chance to be picked up. Looking here for the jungler most likely, unless Peanut's going to go for something risky. Lee Sin would make a lot of sense. Graves also in the matchup. Graves vs Rengar we've seen time and time again this week, and he has played 1 winning game on Graves. So it might just be that Graves.
Looks like that will be the lock-in as the clock ticks down, unless they're going to flip it at the last second, which they will not. So Graves will come through for Peanut.
And I think Faker's going to play Ahri. That's what I believe. He will not be playing Ryze. That is taken by Kongdoo this time. Again, been a pretty impressive champion for Edge, and a lot of CC in every lane. Speaking of CC...
Oh, this would definitely be a change.
Did Kongdoo Monster pick it up from Mithy over in EU?
Showing a couple different options. Watch me end up with something really standard after all of this teasing.
What is the Kongdoo Monster secret? It's Zyra.
It's Zyra.
Bit of an open secret, that one.
Damn it.
That's not my Kongdoo monster secret.
I knew that getting excited over that was a mistake.
A fool's errand, you would say?
Yep.
Well, Faker could play any champion. Remember, he plays all of them.
Quite a bit. Could just do the Orianna.
Really? No Ahri. Sad times. Ahri has a lane matchup against Ryze, so...
Yep, we'll just go with this.
Well, it's standard Achilles, too standard. But Ahri and Nautilus was the duo that led to the 4000 ELO shockwave from none other than Faker in the series against KT Rolster that I called an equalizer.
They had the Nami on top of that.
That's
so
true.
Having the tidal wave plus the depth charge was really good for SKT, but the depth charge was the big one that set it up. So we'll see if they can find a moment like that here again. Though it probably won't be quite as insane as the first time that we saw it, given that SKTelecom will more than likely be ahead from the get-go here.
Pushing lane in the top lane for Nautilus. Same matchup that we just saw. Nautilus versus the Shen. This time it's the Graves for Peanut. Let's have one game on it. Has only shown 4 junglers this season, which may come to cost him if we see some more jungle bans in future rounds. And it is an advantageous matchup for Faker, but not necessarily early. And Edge has been good on the rise.
Still going up against Faker. Arduous task. No matter what the matchup, going to be very reliant on Punch. Try to get ahead on that Rengar. Get those ganks in, lock down the Orianna, and grow a lead from there. Kongdoo did a decent job of it in game number 1. Whether or not they can do it here in game 2, yet to be seen. Now Kongdoo Monster brings Secret to the board. We'll see if that changes things for them.
Uphill battle, Achilles. Battling for pride in many ways, Kongdoo Monster and SKTelecom roll on to that match against Afrika.
Yeah, that they do. Let's see if SKT can go ahead and close this out easy peasy, give us an early night, or if Kongdoo can defy all the odds. Let's get on to the rift for game number 2. Kongdoo fans getting a little bit more energy in them. SKTelecom, predictably, massive fan base here, turning out on a Saturday night to watch these guys. You know what? We can go see our favorite team on Saturday night. We'll still get done early enough that we can go out to a bar or something. So it's a win-win situation for SKT fans today.
Oh, the SKT fans here are old enough to go to that bar, Achilles.
That's very true.
Younger fans for sure. Drinking age
have to be of age. 18
in Korea, 19 Korean age. But I'm sure we could get a cheeky bevy later.
A nice frothy.
Oh, you're saying my language. Who knows? Maybe a certain Australian will be joining me on the cast a week from today. Seems unlikely, but we get word that Atlas should be here late next week.
Yeah. Finally
join in on some fun.
Getting things squared away. More than likely going to be the start of the week after.
That would make more sense.
But we need to get, time to get over the jet lag, get acclimated. So, actually, what's the time difference to Australia?
It's +2 to Sydney right now.
Okay, so it's not that bad. So jet lag won't really be that much of a factor. Mostly just having that long flight.
Got a life to move as well.
Yeah.
That can always be a slow process.
Settled in the new apartment.
Probably not going to be a slow process here for SKT T1 if the last game was any indication, although they were in a bit of a slumber for the start of the game.
They woke up, though.
There's some fans. Lots of love on the rift.
I can't read that fast enough, but looks like it's over for the side of Punch, I think.
Kongdoo Monster fans. Life can be hard. There's still many Jin Air fans, CJ fans as well. Those CJ fans might have a re-entry to the LCK to cheer for in a couple of months' time. They look poised to make it back. Still undefeated since that loss on day 1.
Peanut.
For a level 2 gank here.
Yeah,
very difficult. Remember, Ahri doesn't have any hard CC.
The Fog of War wrapping around now. But just going to take one shot at the minions, and that's it. Good cheat up. towards that top side of the river by Edge. So just ensures that he has a way to get out.
Don't want to take an extended trade there, since Rise is always going to be priced in to go back for the tier at this time, whereas Faker wants to lane, so probably has enough gold for Lost Chapters, that 900. Don't want to give Rise a chance to chunk out the enemy Orianna, then show up in his face with a tier. FaZe and Bot going to be going pretty damn similarly to the previous game. Bang was able to lane till he got tier Sheen in game 1, and that's definitely the happy place for Ezreal.
Yeah, if you do that again, then maybe Bang just gets set on the path for a double MVP tonight.
Hasn't had one of those in a while, for sure.
Yeah.
Then we can ask him lots of in-depth questions for him to answer. Reveal all the theory. Koma's like, please, no. Don't give Bang any more time.
Every time you interview him, he just gives away trade secrets. It's got to be really frustrating for the staff at SKTelecom. They just want him to shut up. Like, just smile and tell the fans that you love them.
They get him to agree to do a VOD review, because my goodness, the amount of information we would get from a Bang VOD review. He likes to talk about theory, which is appreciated.
Saw in the top lane, Prophet getting jumped on, but now Peanut coming over the wall, end of the line. Not gonna clip him. Would have been the killing blow, but flashes away.
That's the Peanut we know and love, though, going for more aggressive play. Faker winning trades against Rise this early is concerning, given the lane gets even better for the Rise. Sorry, for the Orianna in later levels.
Yep. Thought maybe we would see Faker go for something flashy. Well, not necessarily intended, but I suppose works. Wolf gonna get the tether down secret. Oh, getting chunked out. One more missing shot. Good night, Zyra.
One of my favorite children's books.
I don't think I ever had that one.
No.
Had the.
What was your children's book that you remember?
Oh God. There's a couple ones.
Did you have the Aussie favorite, the Hungry Caterpillar?
Yes, of course.
What a classic.
Yes, we do have the Hungry Caterpillar. Was it Rainbow Fish or whatever the heck that one was?
Oh. Was that the one that had the really shiny gill?
Yes.
Oh, that book was amazing. I never owned it, but I loved
the one that looked like a rainbow.
Yes,
perhaps.
it did. Those two are both classic. See, look, even though, you know, there's 5 years between us, we still had the same children's literature.
What was the other one that I... Tiki Tiki Tembo was another book.
No, now you lost me. Remember, we do have the 5 years. The first two, though, you're on the ball.
It was, I think it was, it's something about a Japanese story, I think.
What was your children's television? Because I get the feeling you were the next generation, the Dragon Ball Z, the anime, rather than like the children's cartoons I watched.
Children's cartoons was like Nick Jr. So
what's some titles we're talking about?
Let's see if Edge is going to get out of here first. Looks like he's all right. But was it Little Bear was one of them. Blue's Clues was when I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
What else did they have? I don't know. My memory is not great as far as this is concerned. But I mean, you had all the Kids WB shows as well, Jackie Chan Adventures.
Ah, yes.
For the brief stint that they had the Men in Black animated TV show. Pokemon.
Yep.
My first exposure to anime.
Was it the first seasons of Pokemon, like right at the start?
Yep.
I never watched any of the ones. I probably watched the first year or two, but I never watched when they like
the Johto region.
Yeah, none of those ones afterwards. The early days.
I watched a bit of that, but that was around the time that I started falling away from that show. And
was there a Transformers brand on at the time? I fell away when they went to the dinosaurs.
At that time, I don't remember watching Transformers, but I remember watching. I think it was Armada on Toonami.
Huh.
When I got a little bit older. That was around the time I started watching, Dragon Ball Z, Zoids, Big O.
So I watched Neon Genesis Evangelion when I was very young. That was weird.
That's one of those ones that
I was
really
way too young to watch Neon Genesis Evangelion. It was when it was on TV the first time. I would have been like 8. And it was weird, man. Some of those themes went over my head.
Yep. And then you became a psychologist.
That's true. I was never able to treat myself. I was a lost cause.
Level 6 has been achieved for Punch.
And a monster this time with the 1-3-1 comp. So breaking a side lane turret would be a massive win for them.
I think he's spotted, yep. got spotted by that ward right there over the wall. So, sniff something out, so I'll go ahead and throw down the sweeper. They'll clear it out, but gank not going to come in yet. Yeah, there's a couple of those shows that you probably shouldn't watch if you're a young child, but you definitely should watch if you're a teen to an adult. Evangelion definitely being one of them.
Only if you're of age, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
We never condone anything underage on the OGN stream.
Nope. Ghost in the Shell. Another good one.
That movie's out soon.
I have no hope for it.
I mean, I like Scarlett Johansson, and I like the locations in the previews, but I understand the skepticism.
It's mostly because it's PG-13 that has me really worried. It's a lot of themes and...
I mean, even the casting choice should at least,
like,
at minimum, have you worried. Because, like, really,
oh, yeah.
how necessitated that all was is up in the air.
Scarlett Johansson as Major Motoko Kusanagi.
You know, might need a name change. I guess you could get away with being a halfie, I guess you would say.
I think they're just going to call her Major the entire film. It's probably the way that you handle that one.
We'll find out via reviews and potentially going to watch the movie if said reviews say it's all right.
Yeah, I forget when it comes out. I think it's this month.
It's like 31st, I think.
Maybe at the end of the month, yeah. I don't think it has any reviews out yet, though.
No reviews for SKT or Kongdoo this game so far. Been pretty dour stuff, pretty standard. SKT have shown very much through the draft phase that they're trying to hide as much as possible, which, given their next matches against the Afrika Freaks, who beat them 2-0, probably a good incentive for SKT to just play it standard.
Yeah, March 31st. Rated PG-13 for intense sequences of sci-fi violence and suggestive content.
I hope we see some sci-fi violence and some suggestive content in this game, Achilles.
That seems unlikely.
Oh.
We're not even supposed to have cigars in this game. Faker gonna flash the wall. He's K. Flash for Ghost. Still a bit of a trade up there by Kongdoo Monster.
Controlling the area around the Drake pretty well. SKT pretty happy to just farm up. Not that Kongdoo Monster is lost in that regard either. Big conga line following in for the Graves.
Just quick draws out to safety, but significantly slower game coming through. But Punch, in a really nice spot, been power farming. So is very comfortably ahead of Peanut at the moment.
Even Prophet roams. Remember, there is Stan United to follow, so need to call in the cavalry and then some to pull off a pick in the mid lane.
Yeah, just walking down. Well, he can afford it. Waves up pushing against him. He should get some vision down around this blue buff. Actually starts this up, and Peanut's in the vicinity, so they might be trying to take this away, but Punch is here. They go for the play. Pop up, depth charge coming through. He'll still get knocked up. Stand United coming down. Dragging back in with a depth charge. Now Roach is arriving. Blue buff going low. Smites here for Peanut. We'll be able to take this one away.
Rise.
Faker and Edge walk over. They exchange a couple blows, but overall, it's going to be a nice pickup here for SKTelecom. The only thing they invest is going to be that depth charge, and they come up with getting a flash away from Punch as well as that Stand United. Now Peanut going in aggressive. Maybe looking for a kill. Collateral damage is still available.
He wants it.
In. He'll be able to get it. There we go. First blood on the board for Peanut. Flash forward from Edge now. Trying to trade it back. Will get it. Says thank you for the buff transfer. Unfortunately, lost that first blood though.
Well, Peanut did what he would do in solo queue, but high cost is in bot lane.
All right, hello. Bang. Jumping forward into Secret's face. Comes up with a kill of his own. So all of a sudden, the cap has been taken off the bottle of action. It's just spilling forth.
And Peanut could have accepted the blue buff steal and helped Orianna in the laning phase, but ends up trading, giving the kill credit over to Rise and the blue buff, kind of undoing the dive.
They're gonna go for the dive. Yep, Wolf just tethering him down. Bang comes up with another kill. Meanwhile, we get a solo kill from Faker in mid. Have to get a replay of this one.
Well, now Faker has blue.
All right, buff transfer completed.
Finally, truly complete.
Peanut's like, all right, I feel better about this now. He was probably like in voice comms.
Oh, you know what?
Sorry, guys.
No. The voice comes way earlier. The moment that the Rise walked up to Peanut, Faker was like, nice. And then like a minute later, he got the blue buff. Mad Life told us about the 5-second rule. Faker's gotten better. It's a minute rule now.
And now SKT, they're going to go ahead and accelerate the game. Get that first brick. First tower gold goes over to them, and suddenly a nice little lead of nearly 3,000 is stretched in their favor.
Roach did not have the ultimate that time. No way to relieve the pressure in mid. Much longer cooldown on the level 1 Stand United. Yeah, Prophet's been playing smart. Top laners should take notes, especially when you have the wave clear advantage like you would expect for a Nautilus. Just leave lane. Go put down some trinket wars, roam into mid lane. The minion's going to take a while to be taxied back to your turret. There's no point chilling in the brush. Might as well make the map moves, which Prophet's been really good on this game.
Yep. Really good acceleration from SKTelecom. Game starting off was pretty resident sleeper, I guess.
I mean, we're talking about quite a lot of random crap, so that's a pretty good sign of that.
Yep.
As we are wont to do. Just waiting for the S word, the scaling word, to finally be fully observed. Bang's waiting for a second item.
I thought the S word was secret.
Oh, we're not talking about my Kongdoo Monster secret. That's for another day. Realm Warp? Probably going to be too slow.
Taking the dissonance. Shockwave, nicely timed. We'll pull Edge back in. They just can't go for the dive. So he'll be all right.
Optimistic to go for the level 1 Realm Warp play. That doesn't usually work. A bit conspicuous. I wonder if Bang will be going for Iceborne Gauntlet again. He is against Rengar Jhin.
Might be good, but also might be feeling confident enough to just go straight up for the Trinity Force. He's going to have a bit of a delay there, as he does have that Cull stacking up. Doesn't have too much further on it to get that nice burst of gold. So if he does want the Trinity Force, it'll help him complete that item.
Edge.
Though, wrap around from the back.
Locks
down Edge, doesn't have Ghost or Flash. And he'll just go down. Or we'll pop Ghost there, but it's not enough to keep him alive.
There's a ward where his dead turret is, which lets you know that they had complete information to make that play. Nice wrap around. Shen had ult, but, you know, it wouldn't have changed anything, so perhaps smart to hold on to it. Maybe they can make aggressive play in bot, but no jungler there either. Punches ult on cooldown, so they just kind of end up losing out everywhere, Achilles.
To be expected. This is what we expected from game 1. Kongdoo, they put up a fight, but it seems like they exhausted themselves with that performance.
Well, Faker got the last pick, and the buff transfer was helpful. The roam from top. Prophet's been very good. You know, Huni had an outstanding debut season in the LCK, but Prophet didn't get much of a nod after looking decent in the Casper Cup. But as we said, got outmatched by Smeb towards the end. A lot of time in solo queue. Always been a good solo queue player. Good map movements means that maybe Huni has some competition to deal with. I don't think there's any doubt that Huni will be first choice, but, well.
Plunge getting dragged in from the Shockwave. Faker just hounding him down, just hammering away through that Stand United shield. He's able to pop it on his own as an Orianna. And that is just all...
I like how Shen was laughing
sorts
in the
of all sorts of upsetting events here for Kongdoo.
Upsetting's perhaps a strong emotion. All these players, I think, were pretty emotionally centered about how this game would go. Game 1 went a lot cleaner than expected, but Game 2, as you say, it's gone much more normally, let's say, for SKTelecom T1 especially. Faker's having one of those games where he has his own ball, literally, because he's Orianna, but there were some games last season, you remember, where Faker was just killing everyone, roaming between lanes, getting solo kills left and right, stealing blue buffs all on his own, that the whole has his own basketball and plays his own game analogy was at, but this time he has the ball as Orianna, so Morellonomicon meant no healing for Punch and no life for Punch very soon after.
Yeah. And SKT far enough ahead at 17 minutes and just like,
who wants to play the betting game
Rift
of
Herald.
who gets the Rift Herald, or then maybe it will be neither team.
Peanut goes out the back of the pit with the collateral damage. Roach is on his lonesome in the back here.
Realm Warp.
Here, Thrill the Hunt coming through. Realm Warp as well, joining, but SKT are able to kite back, and goodbye Secret just gets popped by Faker immediately. Takes him out. Peanut trying to stay alive. The shields from the Karma doing wonders for him. And Kongdoo Monster will get picked off one by one. Edge flashing out. Doesn't matter. Double kill still goes over to Bang. SKT find 4. Roach, the only one to make it out with his life. And they're just like, back to the Rift Herald.
One rotation of spells, popping the Zyra. Zyra with a Ruby Crystal and a Sightstone. Faker with Morellonomicon and is on his way what you'd imagine will be a death cap, but maybe just Illudens to do even more early game damage.
Oh my god, see it again. No shockwave means he walks out with his life this time, but this is just another day on the job for Faker and SKT.
Are they going to give it to Faker?
Give
Ooh, Peanut gets something nice. Usually Faker gets it, whether he's in a melee champion or not. Secret gets to watch Prophet steal away the red buff.
Oh. Not going to go for the seal. Prophet. He could probably just kill Punch, but now Faker's like, all right, you're going to be my ball delivery system.
I like how the Nautilus inherently and as a bait is a ball delivery system.
There we go. We'll get this again.
I mean, unfortunately, the Realm Warp is a great place to put the ball, and that was
make this
OW.
Disappear.
That was only his first trick.
Yep.
Didn't need LeBlanc for that one.
Soul's just like, oh, come on.
Meanwhile, look at Prophet, though. Great. Coming in on the teleport. Kills Soul, who was ulting in the backline. Safety not achieved. There's a good ward control from SKT. Guess what? The scoreline represents the game, except it's on the wrong side. It's 1v10, but... it's not a perfect game, so Kongdoo have that going for them.
Yeah.
Hold your head in shame, Peanut.
This is one of those ones that's just rough to watch. Almost 10,000 gold down now, 19 minutes in.
You're just looking for the big play. You want to see Faker get an instant triple kill. You want to see if SKT are going to be in a rush to close it out. They are insanely far ahead, 10,000 gold at 19 minutes.
I mean, at this rate, we're looking at one of our earliest finishes that we've had so far this season.
We've had a lot of Jin Air series, so you take your victories where you can get them.
Yeah, LS and Valdez, they need to take more of those. We get too many Jin Air series.
Well, we actually have every remaining SKT series.
Hell yeah, feels good, man.
Good for viewership and good for going home. The crowd laugh at that one. They like that one.
Yeah, they heard us.
Yeah, they definitely
and
did.
And they understood everything.
We're totally mic'd for the Korean broadcast.
The Korean straight to stream.
And we're funnier than I realized.
I know, we don't have to say anything. Faker getting jumped on, 1v3. They will be able to take him out. He can't get Secret this time around, but they're trading a kill onto Faker for turrets. In the top lane, the inner goes down.
Well, it took 3 members, but they got Faker.
Oh, Bang says, I will avenge you. Jumps forward with the arcane shift, trying to hunt down Punch, but doesn't have that Iceborne Gauntlet, just the red buff to try to slow him up. Jukes out on the Deadly Flourish.
Big re-engage.
Shots will be coming through. He's going to get taunted up. He'll go down, actually. So, bit overzealous by him, but Prophet yet again just murders Soul on the backline.
I like how Prophet plays Nautilus as if he's Zed. He just pops into the backline.
How does this keep happening?
Assassination on the enemy 80 carry, leaves.
What?
The least conspicuous Nautilus of all time, but
he's a ninja.
But isn't that how it always is with SKT? You have your eyes on Faker, he's dead, well then your eyes are on Bang. And Soul's like, I'm opening up in the backline, and then he's dead.
I'm young.
I don't even know if he had time for pleasantries. Probably a very rude entrance by our Korean standards. Instantly deleted. I like how every time Soul ults, he's going to have this like irrational fear that Nautilus is behind him.
He's so worried.
He didn't even teleport. He just happened to be behind the Jin.
Doo-doo, just walking in. Oh, dear. Well, Kongdoo at least put 2 more kills on the board. Now they're 3 kills away from having been perfect gamed.
It's the little things we said in the opening game.
Well, you know, we got smashed, but we killed Faker and Bang that one time. Soul's just like, please, no more fighting.
He's going to open up next to the Nexus turret next time. There's safety there, damn it.
I'm just going to sit here, wait till they're pushing the inhibs, and then I'll be all right. Somehow Prophet still just appears. Pops out from behind the shopkeeper.
I mean, Prophet needs to, you know, find a thing, and his thing is apparently the Crouching Tiger hidden Nautilus.
Is that a curtain call you got going on there? Be a damn shame if I were to dredge line you.
I thought that was going to be, oh, you happy to see me?
Yeah, he's definitely not happy to see him.
No. There's a rude entrance.
That's absolutely a rhetorical question.
Well, this game devolved very quickly. There was no rapid ascent. for KT, for Kongdoo, for SKT to bring back. Instead, it's been Kongdoo under the pump, let's say, in this game. Soul's very happy farming, because every time he ults, things go bad.
Yeah.
And lethality has certainly been outstripped by the Nautilus. However, Ezreal felt frisky enough to not buy into the Ninja Tabi for once. Bang is unleashed with more damage potential with the CDR.
His final form.
I mean, if you've won Worlds twice, what's your final form? Winning Worlds a third time?
I think it just keeps evolving. It doesn't stop until he retires.
But maybe we'll find out that SKT follows Pokemon rules and can only evolve twice, and then maybe there's only there's no fourth final form.
I don't know.
Is there a fourth evolution for any Pokemon?
I mean, maybe now with like the Mega forms that they added in like 2 generations ago. I don't really know. I still haven't played Sun and Moon.
Does Riot need to add extra events for a Mega form to be achieved for SKT?
I mean, technically Eevee has like a ton.
That's true.
Of evolutions, but they're not really linear. But I don't know. I'm not up to snuff on my Pokemon game. You're talking to the wrong.
That's true. That's
Korean League caster.
That is the Gangnam Studio. My apologies.
Yeah.
We talk about secrets here.
Yeah. Imp though, he keeps evolving.
What is his final form? I hope it's back in Korea.
I think he's gonna look something like CeeLo Green at the Grammys in his final form, just covered in gold and random leather-made products.
I mean, he's leading the bling life. He chose it.
He's already got a leather dog. I'm waiting for him to have a leather family. Like, just like this is my wife. Just a giant satchel.
We shouldn't talk about leather daddies though.
That's that's you and Monty's relationship.
I don't know what you're talking about. He does call me Papa when we're out. Well, that's a pretty terrifying amount of items on Faker. We haven't seen a Shockwave in a while.
Nope.
We've seen farming.
Yep. You'd think that we would see more fighting, given that SKT have pretty much a 10,000 gold lead and can just go end the game.
The Observer showed us that not much damage has been done to the outer turrets of SKT.
Unsurprisingly.
They got some control wards to make the field of view even narrower for Kongdoo Monster. They could take Baron.
They have double Baron
damage. They got to Bathe the Ruin King on the Ezreal. Don't know why they're not doing Baron. Instead, they're pushing back waves, which, you know, works pretty well for Kongdoo Monster, but gold lead has actually gotten smaller. It's only 9,500 now. Certainly hasn't grown like it could have, because SKT are choosing to elongate the game for some reason.
Farmville in 2017.
They do update the farming simulator every year. Germany's favorite game, I believe.
Farmville was Facebook's. At
Favorite
one
game?
point, it was really widely played by a lot of people on Facebook. I never saw the appeal. I did have that person steal my credit card and buy Facebook currency, so I can only assume that they probably bought it for something along the lines of Farmville, which
But that's
is just
definitely
extra.
not the biggest injustice you've faced so far this month, Achilles.
No,
as you recently found out that you cannot order BBQ chicken.
Can't.
You realize that, like,
They don't deliver to my house, and you live a block away from me, and you can get it.
we know someone even closer to you, another esports caster, Wolf Schroeder, who also gets BBQ, and he's like literally 50 to 100 meters from you. What will you do without the sweet, sweet olive oil chicken?
You were going to mention this. I'm just going to walk to your house, order it to your door, then walk away with it.
You know, I'll greet the door. I'll hold on to your chicken for you.
As quickly as you're able to eat, by the time I left, if it arrived and I was walking over, you would finish an entire box by the time I got there.
I don't know what you're implying, Achilles.
You're a speed eater.
Okay, that's what you were implying.
Yes.
Well, SKT is sort of doing things, but actually not really. It is actually an injustice. BBQ chicken is delicious.
Yep.
We are no way paid by BBQ.
Oh, come on, Bang. Really? You're not going to go for that?
It's not safe enough, Achilles.
There's no one on that
Who knows
side
why
of
it
the
may be
map.
down there? They don't have wards.
The worst case scenario is that Stand United comes out. And then it's like, cool, I got Stand United.
There's no wards. Anyone could be there. Realm Warp? Think about it. That's not how SKT plays. The Rocks Tigers are gone. We're reminded every time the intro plays that the Rocks Tigers are gone.
Single tier every time. Well, we know that's not going to do anything.
I kind of wanted the ball to like leave to wherever the Realm Warp went.
Like you would think that would be interesting, but you would think that he would have waited for the bear to be started. Look, I mean,
Kongdoo Monster
double
had a
mount
pretty
drag.
informed idea this was happening, but nothing they could do.
SKT at Baron, they go back to farming for 20 minutes. It's going to be great.
Excitement is palpable. This is what we wanted from this series. No minion shall live.
I mean, I said that we would probably be done today at 9:30, and then SKTelecom just want to prove me wrong. Because now it's 9:28. And it's like, you know, let's go.
Maybe they had a 10:20 dinner
10,
reservation, you know? They want to play some games till then.
Get there early, maybe get seated faster.
It's rude to get there that early, Achilles. Come on, it's a rookie mistake. It's fashionably late, fashionably early, and there's being there 50 minutes early. The 10:20 is looking pretty good for SKTelecom.
Depending on where they have reservations, it might take them a while to get there, Papa. You never
probably
know with that Seoul traffic.
I mean, why would they make a reservation in Gangnam? It's a SPO TV day. They'll be fine. We know some good places. We can tell them.
Well, Cloud Drake tacked on for good measure.
Yeah, they really need to take that Cloud Drake to help them close the game.
Yeah, so important.
Now the Elder will be stronger at 35 minutes when the game is still going.
Thank God for that. So incredible. SKT just... Give them credit. They're playing as cleanly as you possibly could, really. Outside of the 3 kills given over.
Well, they're not going to establish any bad habits. The draft has been respectful. The gameplay has been respectful. Bang pulling back from kills. Peanut pulling back for kills in most cases.
I mean, honestly, this could kind of be seen as a flip-off to KT Rolster. Like, you don't play this cleanly against lower opposition. Secret gets destroyed. And SKTelecom will just start dismantling the base.
See some people heading for the doors. Getting ready for the SKT fan meet, probably.
Got to go get in line for that. It's going to take probably a couple hours to get through that line.
Well, they might miss the biggest comeback in League of Legends regular season history.
Yeah, this is where they're waiting. The game's
It's time for the last stand, Achilles. That's the ult popped. Here we go.
All right, thrilling hunt coming through from Punch. Roach sitting up in the front line. Wolf going to get the tether down. Takes a bit of damage from that Rengar, but now the Nexus is exposed. Curtain Call opening up. Says, haha, I'm in the fountain this time, Prophet. Can't stop me now. But Prophet, here's your Prophet, doesn't care. SKT just going to be looking for the Nexus. A couple more hits will do it. Edge getting dragged back in by the Shockwave. Will go down as Peanut gets the killing blow. Roach, nothing he can do. GA gets popped. And this is going to be SKTelecom winning the game 2-0 in about 31 minutes. You can see headsets are off. They click on the Nexus. And they close it out as anticipated.
Felt like a bit like a exhibition match in the second game. First one, Kongdoo had a really good early game, and SKT took a bit of time to warm up and then killed the game. Game 2, the same Kongdoo couldn't connect, didn't have the same early game, and SKT had just the most beautiful walk in the park. Very, very straightforward game for SKT. T1 didn't reveal anything, and it's one of those ones where they have a big match against Afrika Freaks. They want to actually pick up some game and match victories against an Afrika organization that's thwarted them for close to a year at this point. But this one was straightforward. Oma smiles. Don't say that too much. The belt will stay around the buckle. No need to open up the belt this time because that was very straightforward for SKT T1.
He gave up 3 kills. Takes the belt off. But no, SKT, you know, standard game. Feels good for them. Have to be prepped for Afrika. Don't want to go down another 0-2 loss. But Kongdoo looked a bit alive in game number 1 there, but game 2 just did not stand a chance.
I guess the only sad thing is that, you know, you see them and they're not too sullen, which is understandable given the match, but you can't help but think they've got used to losing Achilles, and that's maybe the biggest travesty on the side of Kongdoo. There's some good young players there. They're still a developing org. Kongdoo does a lot of stuff in multiple esports games, but Kongdoo Monster is, you know, they're basically going to be in the promotion tournament, barring the biggest of miracles. The roster lock has already happened. They can't get any new cavalry, and this is the lineup they're going with, whether it's Secret or Guger. Guger's their shot caller, so bringing in Secret probably changes shot calling for that team as well. Whereas SKT, we don't know how they'll line up against Afrika on Wednesday night. Probably not Sky, but Blank could certainly play. Profit, pretty much a flawless series when it came to play. Very, very clean play from him. Not a perfect game in either game, but it felt like a perfect series, or close to it for SKT T1.
Very much did. So SKT moving now to that plus 17 mark. Going to be 6 points ahead of KT Rolster. And Kongdoo, they're on the opposite side at negative 17 now.
Amazing how the rewards or the results are flipped. You know, we talked about 5 wins and 5 losses in their last 10. Well, negative 17 and plus 17. Let's know it's 34 games between the two teams. And in game 1, you wouldn't have known it. But in game 2, you definitely felt it.
Yeah, Wolf coming out doing more damage than Edge was able to on that rise. So just rough times overall for Kongdoo. Couldn't get a foothold at all. In game number 2, and SKT just run away with it. Predictably, Bang has the most damage yet again.
Nothing to shout about in that game. Was very, very straightforward stuff for SKT. Will it be Bang or Faker with the MVP? Probably Faker.
Oh,
no.
Wow, surprisingly, it's going to be Profit. I guess those flanks on Soul paid off 3-0 for...
That means we get to see his pathing to his creative Z-esque assassinations onto Soul.
Yeah. So Bang and Profit are MVPs for today. Nicely done. Profit already, with a few games that he's played, acquired 2 MVP nominations and just, started things off. Really nice roam down. The turret was already destroyed. Makes for a very easy kill on the edge.
And Soul will go to sleep tonight, having nightmares about a very large robot man killing him.
If he can sleep tonight.
That's true. I hope he gets to sleep tonight. But he killed Soul many times. We only saw the back end of that one, sad days. And there's Nolus on the minimap. Also the back end of this one.
Hello.
Well, he trivialized the Jhin. Took out Secret that time. Good stuff from Profit. Super clean. He looks great, honestly.
Yeah.
Set up to succeed when you're in such a strong team. I think back to Easy Hoon and people trying to rate his skill level when SKT were as good as they were in the 2015 season. You would argue SKT got worse in 2016, but they won more things. And they might not win. IEM Katowice chose not to go to that one, but SKT primed to win even more in 2017. First date is with the LCK. So LCK finals next month is what they're going for, but business as usual. Straightforward 2-0 for SKT T1.
Yeah, they take out the LCK finals and MSI's on the horizon from there. See if they can do that. That's still off in the future. For now, we have an interview with our MVPs, Bang and Profit. So Joel, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with the interview translation. Quite a surprise that SKT pulls off a win against Kongdoo Monster 2-0.
So shocking.
And we are here with today's MVPs, Profit and Bang, for the interview. Bang, Profit, congratulations on the win once again. Bang, would you like to comment on the win? I think the result was as we prepared. Do you want to imply on that? I think it turned out that it has the same result in the scrims. Did you kind of take this as an obvious result? The only thing that's different is that it could have been better. Profit, how do you feel about the win? I think I'm very much in line with Bang. I think it's just, I think if we play as we need to be, we will always win. And I think it's just another easy win for us. I did feel a little nervous, subbing in for Huni, but being that starting lineup was a little bit of pressure. You said you were shaken, but your plays weren't shaken whatsoever. And did you receive a lot of support from the coaching staff? Yeah, the coaching staff always tells me, like I said before, as long as I do the same thing as I do in scrims, I should be able to perform well. And Bang, you showed, in relation to the Ninja Top you showed last game, you tried to bring out the Iceborne Gauntlet with the blue build today, with the Ezreal. With the Iceborne Gauntlet, it's been out of the trend very recently, with Trinity Force coming back as the popular build. But with the opposition team really formed around the very aggressive DPS type of champions, getting that CC with the Iceborne Gauntlet was the more priority for me that game. And the opposition did have a lot of AD champions, and having that Iceborne Gauntlet to slow them down, and that really does help the rest of the team. And I think it's still a viable build in some situations. Let's look at a video highlight, one of the plays. Kongdoo's resistance in the early game was actually pretty strong in game 1. Do you have any comments on that? What thoughts were going through your minds when this play was going on? Don't remember too much in detail, but we felt like that we needed to be able to come back from this team fight by cutting off some people. Prophet, after the first game, we saw Koma come in and really, pat you on the back and giving a lot of feedback. What was that all about? Coach told me that I did a good job. He said I was all right. That's all, kind of all what he said to me after game 1. I think I did what I was supposed to do. I think I could have done better, but we saw a lot of those plays where you really cut off Soul in the back line. We thought that you did a very satisfactory job on your role. Let's look at an example of that. And you were just in the below that, in the midst of all that team fight. What was the call between that play? We were actually talking about, escaping that team fight, trying to get away from it. But we felt that, as long as we can cut off the right people at the same time, we had a upper edge in that team fight. So we just went more aggressively. And Nautilus and Rumble are the really priority champions in top lane. Would you like to show any other champions other than that? When I was an amateur, I really preferred the picks of Irelia and Akali and those kind of champions. So you're talking about Irelia. And what do you, maybe in this meta, we have to think about it a little bit more. But a lot of the talks right now with the SKT's bottom lane is that you really prioritize the Israel, even blind picking it. But was the matchup always favorable for you guys? Yeah, I think it's a one-way traffic for us with that bot lane matchup. Having Israel on the side of us. Perhaps you guys don't think that way with your expressions looking so grim, but I felt like our bot lane was always ahead of the opposition bot lane. But with the composition, having Israel on the team, it just gets better and better as the time goes on. And there's no way that the opposition lane can push against us, and that just gives us a whole advantage going through the mid to the late game. So there's no way they can get an advantage over us. As long as, we avoid all the CCs that can happen to us, we should always be ahead. So all you're saying is, as long as you avoid skill shot, you'll still win the game. But with Karma Shield and with the E and the speed buff that you get, it's really easy to do that. But Zyra gets scared on the opposition. She's gonna try to use that CC to wrap you up, but as long as you do a little bit of movement and and getting that shield up at the right time gives you enough movement speed to avoid all that. It'd actually be weird to get caught by that CC, if I'd imagine. So I don't know why anyone would get caught by that CC from Zyra. So very implicable tip from Bang. I think if any bot lane user doesn't know that tip, I think it'll be pretty disappointing. So last question is that you guys are up against a Freak of Freaks, which you guys lost 2-0 last time in your matchup. Do you want to say anything before going into that matchup? I don't know if I'll play for that series, but I think our team will do our best to win that series. We always thank the fans for always continuing to support us. And thank you for everything, guys. So that's the end of the review. Back over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Joel. So just another quality Korean League of Legends player tip coming out there from Bang. Just dodge all the skill shots, and you'll stop sucking in League of Legends.
I mean, his main takeaway point was don't get hit by grasping roots from a Zyra, which, as Ezreal, it's concerning if you are.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not exactly the hot tip that we got last time when he revolutionized Ezreal builds, revolutionized Ninja Tabi AD carry. Just a standard interview from Bang and a standard win for SKTelecom T1. Things to work on, specifically around Peanut in Game 1, but looked a lot cleaner when he moved away from the Rengar, which, maybe on 7.5 that'll stop, and first 10th was went about as first versus 10th-y as possible.
Yep. Just shy of a perfect game there was SKTelecom T1. You can see the plus 17, the minus 17 between the two. So standings not changing today here, but still good advancements overall for SKTelecom, really keeping that firm spot in first.
That mirror between SKT and Kongdoo is it's troubling.
Yep.
Having the actual invert of wins and also negative 17 to the plus 17, but unfortunately that is where Kongdoo Monster find themselves. We have one more match day this week. That'll be over at the Gangnam Stadium. Brandon Ellis will bring you Katie Rolster versus Rocks Tigers. That was the final of LCK Summer 2016.
Some things have changed
then.
Yeah, just a little bit. And then Samsung Longzhu close out that one. Longzhu looking pretty poor after their last game.
Samsung getting 2-1 by Afrika, so both those teams looking to rebound. We don't have next week's matchups, unfortunately, but letting you guys know that when we're back on Wednesday, SKT versus Afrika, we've seen that anime intro so many times of Marin and Faker. They will face next time we see you, and that's something to be excited about.
Yeah, and then Kongdoo MVP, the last game of the day there, so it'd be interesting to see how Kongdoo performs. If they bring that early game like they had against SKTelecom, there's a decent chance that they could have some success, maybe advance their play, and take the game late. MVP did have a rough time today against the Freak of Freaks, so not really sure what's going to happen there, but it's an exciting week next week, because then we have Longzhu versus the Rocks Tigers, and then Samsung versus KT closing us out on Thursday. So those 2 days, we're going to have some really nice star-studded matchups coming to you guys.
Got to say, if SKT don't drop a game next week, who knows if they'll drop another one before the end of the season. It gets easier and easier. They've already played against KT Rolster twice, getting through some of those tricky matchups. So things looking really good for an SKT fan.
Yeah.
Not sure if we'll be on 7.5 next week. My first guess is probably not. I'd like us to be because it's going to change a lot. But for now, we don't know. As on the Korean main screen, we see that Dangun, our weekly LCK host, will be coming on a lot earlier than usual today.
Yeah.
It's only 9:45 p.m. Korean Standard Time. We've gone as late as 12, so...
Yeah, and he has had to stay here after that and film a live show. So
that's why you guys don't get to see
relieved.
Which is the sad thing, right? We don't get weekly LCK between series anymore. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that. And sorry we have to go away until Wednesday. So we'll see you guys then. Enjoy the games tomorrow. Enjoy all of the League of Legends that's happening around the world this weekend. And we'll see you next week.